Yo, 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 welcome again. Once again.
We may be far, but our hearts are connected. Blood so thick, even water can break it.
Well,
You
Our
can't tell that
minds
man
text
nothing.
and
I
tell each other
bet.
So
crazy. We all seem to make it look easy. Come join us and have a good time.
You
Join
need
us
to
and
admit
have
that
a
you need
good
help. You know what I'm
time.
saying?
yeah.
Come
Back, can
join
you
us
bring
and
us
have
into
a
the
good
second part?
time.
I can.
Come
Uh,
join us and
Oh,
Yeah.
wait a
have a
minute, Jay.
good
Wait a
time.
Oh,
minute.
Family
Wait a minute.
why his
Bloodliner.
hand like that?
he
I
My
said,
bad.
"What?"
I meant to raise it, but
Yeah, like
my
that.
bad.
Family
My bad, y'all.
bloodline.
Uh,
Hey,
Family bloodline.
though, I always heard that
Family
it was you have to make up in your
bloodline.
mind that this is not something that you want to do anymore for it
right.
to be effective
Family
for your
Hmm.
recovery to work.
bloodline.
Kid you not, man. A lot of people don't believe me when I said I don't think about
Family
alcohol. I don't think about
bloodline.
drinking.
The family bloodline. The
Whenever we live or
family
whenever we Zoom, I'll be like,
bloodline.
were you really an
Family
addict? Or
How
bloodline.
do
yeah.
you
Family
differentiate between the two, the
bloodline.
habit and an addiction? Yeah.
Family bloodline. The family bloodline.
From
The
our house to
family
yours, open your doors.
bloodline.
I'm your boy
The
Dirt.
family
And I'm Shay.
bloodline. The
Hey, I'm Wanda.
family
and I'm
bloodline.
Jig, also known as Fat. So let's get into it. All right, so I remember having my first drink at Aunt Mary's house, and it was us. It was myself, Carlos, Dirt, when Tinky was going in and out of juvie,
Yeah.
Hurt, Tay,
Eat.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
E.
E
Yeah.
Celis. I remember me and Carlos first first drinking, and it was on the heels of watching you smash a 40, cuz smash it. And I was like, like, what did he just do? Like, oh
When you
my
say
God.
smash,
And I
was it
turned to
just like
Carlos and I
when you
was
say
like,
smash, was it just like one like he just like took it to the head or
so I remember he was like pointing at somebody talking, and he was like, no, no, hold up. Do, 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 do. I was like, ah,
Like a
and
once
I
in a
looked at
lifetime
Carlos.
experience, right?
Yeah. I looked at Carlos and I was like, did you see that? Oh my God. Anyway, so that was like my influence that started me drinking was being in that setting. Again, so I'm not saying that to put any blame on or to say you did anything wrong because I'm not an addict. you know. Um, but I have had my negative experiences with alcohol also,
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
and I had to get to a point at one stage in life where I had to dry out, like literally dry out for a while because
Mhm.
I felt myself getting to that point and
Right.
I didn't want to be there. So
Hmm.
that kind of moved the change for me from when it was a habit to where I could have ended up addicted. So the question for everybody essentially is what are y'all thoughts on what a habit is versus what an addiction is, and can they be interchangeable? Are they the same thing or are they different? Which way do you
Hmm.
go?
Hmm.
Or as me, I say addiction pretty much has always ended in a negative effect for me, for people, you know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Or a habit. I think between the two, I think it's just something that which one can you break faster? Say if you can stop this faster than the other, then that's a habit than more of an addiction. You know what I'm saying? That's how I persuade more, because they intertwine, but like you say, they really don't. I think that's it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The amount of time that it takes to break a habit for me, you know what I'm saying? Not a habit, but to break whatever substance or whatever issue you're dealing
Yeah.
with, you know what I'm saying?
I guess I would
okay.
say,
Some people bite their lip.
yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
I
saying? Is that an
Some
addiction or a
bite,
habit?
bite
You
their
know what I'm
nails,
saying?
you know.
That's
it's a
I've
something they
habit.
can
had
stop,
I've
or
had
you know what I'm
I
saying.
like
So, but an addiction is something that you can't you know doing this gonna have some negative effect down the road. You know what I'm saying? You know this dealing with it. This, like I say, it's like a mental disease. So addiction, I think we all have an addiction. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But so I
So,
get somebody else the floor at this time. So
but so just to
ladies,
come back to that real quick, cuz so you saying that at the baseline for it for you is the ending consequence, right? So the addiction can generally yield bad results, whereas a habit can fluctuate between good or bad results.
Yeah.
a habit can be positive or negative. Where I think addiction always ends negative. You know what I'm saying? Or always
Yeah.
I
has a
feel that.
negative circle or pool or
And I
something
also
that
think that it's a matter of consistency because you don't have to do something every single day to be an addict. Maybe you do something once a month for 20 years. You know, is that different from the everyday person as far as addiction goes? It's
Well, kind of
still it's still
explain
this
that
I,
for me, Jay.
consistent,
Kind of
it's
explain
still
that for
this
me.
consistent action that you're taking that's harmful, whether if it happens over 20 years, you know, once a month or every day.
I
You know?
kind of look at it like this, they all go together, like addiction, habit. I think it all goes together
It's
because
like
it,
the levels of the
yeah,
spectrum.
because it starts off like this. You
You
just
can
dip
start
and
in
dab and
the
you
up to
just
the red.
experiment a little bit, and then that experiment becomes something you kind of like, so it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And that habit can easily turn into an addiction if you're not careful. And 9 times out of 10, with people that lived how I lived and was go through the things that some of the things that I went through, it can easily turn into an addiction because it's like a shield. It turns you into uh, it helps block a lot of reality, because
the liquid courage, like they used to
Mm.
call it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's something like
yeah,
liquid courage. You
and
know
you
what I'm
can,
saying? You get
yeah, you can just sit back and relax, and you things that you don't want to realize or things you don't want to see, you're not going to see it. You're going to only notice what you want to notice. And
I
it,
think I think another weird place with addiction is like there's a point where when do you feel like life is real? Because an addict, real life is weird to them. You know what I mean? Like they only see life inside of this alcohol bubble or this cocaine bubble
Oh
or
wow,
like
wow.
that's
Okay.
normal life to them. So to people who
Yeah.
are sober, we're weird to them.
they're
You know, so
afraid.
to me, that's that addiction
Yeah,
when you're
Right.
like accepting life in the bubble of your addiction instead of
yeah.
what the sobriety is.
And
Like
see,
these sober people, that's weird. I don't understand that, you
yeah,
know.
to see that
That's
bubble,
addiction. When
that
you can't
bubble,
even see, you know.
that bubble is that safe place. That's the safety net, the
Yeah.
safety zone. There's no fear in that bubble. There's no
Yeah.
fear. There's no hurt. There's no emotion. There's no care. It's
Yeah.
just it's just that person. And then when that bubble starts to disappear gradually, you got to fill your circle back up again, so
With
your
something.
bubble will stay closed up, or you're going to start feeling these things that you're really literally afraid of. See, a lot of addiction comes from fear of life
Unseen.
Absolutely.
itself.
oh yeah.
Huh.
Uncomfortable with everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Wanda, what was yours? What was
What?
your
Oh, like I don't
you
really
make
have
yourself
like
feel?
I wouldn't call it an addiction, but I do have a habit. I've like been doing it forever though, and it helps me sleep. It's called a tongue thrust, and I've done that like my entire life. Yes, I suck my
Wait.
tongue, and it helps like
Oh yeah, I forgot
Oh
about that.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
this is something new I'm learning about one. That
no, like
wow.
I like
Right.
I
so,
forgot
so
about
like
that.
everybody like I spend the night over their house like all the time, like and that's how I
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
like
And I
and to this day I still do that. I've
Wow.
Used to
tried
wear
wow.
me out.
I
Right. I mean,
I walk
all
past
I-
Ricky room and I'm like,
You can
is
hear
her,
it's a clicking.
her eyes half open
Like-
and the tongue out. I'm like, something wrong with my cousin.
right.
Like, and it's like it's a
I
habit, and I've actually tried to break it a couple times.
You
Like
should too.
I've done speech therapy for it. I've done it's like an oral therapy
No.
that you can do, and I've done.
But that's what I'm
I-
saying. That's
like,
a
I've tried
that's a
that.
habit that's positive. You know what I'm saying?
But
Where
like the only
you
thing,
use
like
it.
when I'm bored, but you can tell when I'm bored with this habit. Like if I'm bored, I'm like that.
forgot about that, Wanda.
And I feel like to this day, and luckily my husband don't mind it because I still sleep like that. Like that's how I fall asleep.
Wow.
Mhm.
And I don't, it's not, well, for me, it's not a negative because it's a soothing thing, but I would feel like that's the same thing. The same soothing effect that I get from that is what an addiction gets from from what their habit or whatever they're addicted to.
Mm.
So how do
Yeah.
you differentiate between the two, the habit and an addiction?
Yeah.
You going to
That's
sleep, they gonna need to chase that high. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Per
No,
se.
but it's
You
like,
see
it's
what I'm
not even
saying?
just when I'm asleep, it's when I'm bored.
I'm just giving, it's
Yeah.
still gonna possibly whatever you doing. If you chilling, you in the zone doing you know what I'm saying?
Like I literally
They-
sit here and
they-
do these podcasts and not try to try to
Okay.
not catch myself not to do it.
Yeah.
I sit here
Yeah.
like, and I'm really focused. Like if y'all see me like twitching my lip a lot
conscious of it,
or I'm
yeah.
biting my lip, I'm trying not to suck my tongue on camera.
Yeah.
That habit right there, it's not gonna turn into something that'll cause you to harm yourself.
That's what I'm saying. She not right now thinking about
she was speaking
chasing
of
chasing the high or
maybe
chasing,
addictions.
you know what I'm saying, trying to do
The
some harm, get
smaller
her next buck from. You
But
know what I'm saying?
addictions are addictions, you know.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't, like I said, it's a habit more than an
Yeah.
addiction, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's why I
Yeah.
differentiate the two from
Yeah.
myself. So,
Okay.
G, what you got to say?
Oh, I was just listening, taking it all in. That was great. That was a great example, Wanda. And I like what you were saying as well, Lance. How a habit can become a stepping stool. How everybody's definitions essentially played into one another. So, what it sounds like we're all coming to a consensus in saying is, habits, although they can be autonomous and can be healthy or can be negative, are different from addictions, although they can lead to an addiction. But addictions generally yield over negative consequences, and they attack, they touch, they influence, they overpower the realization or the aspect of dealing with reality. And they pull that the person, the addict, away from that reality, and they find freedom with essentially numbing themselves. But with that being said, we got an emergency because Alanya left her princess heels downstairs, and I meant to throw them away because I've been tripping over them all day. But it looks like Sari
I'm about to die over here.
accidentally
Y'all
broke
got
the
kids
little
having me.
thing.
Oh.
We'll glue it back
Nah,
on,
baby.
sugar. Don't worry about it.
Those are some
We'll fix
beautiful
it.
princess heels, baby. You fix
I
them
used to
heels.
always want some of them when I
Don't
was
worry about
little.
them heels breaking. Just put some super glue on it, girl.
Oh man.
So here becomes the question. Like, and Wanda, you started touching on this a little bit, and you said that you couldn't fight that habit. You couldn't get out of that habit. You've tried. You've done multiple different programs to break that habit. But what's the recovery movement for an addict? What is that? So not singling you out, Wanda. I'm just using that as an example.
Okay.
But and again, this is for the floor. This is for the floor. Like what is the recovery movement for an addict? How do they get to that stage, and how do they push forward? How do you continue in that stance to be successful with recovery?
You gotta start in the
Next
right
segment,
place,
recovery.
man. You have to start in the right place. The first thing you have to do is ask a power much greater than yourself to help you, to take this thing away from you, man. if you don't start there, I mean, I don't see how it can work. I mean, because I kid you not, man, a lot of people don't believe me when I say I don't think about alcohol. I don't think about drinking. I don't, it's just something, man, that I don't even remember what it tastes like, cuz I don't even remember no more. But I remember, but what God does though, he allows me to remember what it's done to me and for me.
Ah,
Man. So you just
amazing.
gotta, yeah, that's what I did, man. I asked God to help me because this is something that I already know. I can't do this by myself.
Yeah.
This ain't just me, you know. This is God, man. I asked him to help me, man. And I was serious. I was more serious than anything else I've been, you know, about in my life.
Yeah.
And he answered me, man.
I think first of all, if you feeling you need
I love
you,
it.
it's always a negative consequences, as I've been stating.
Mm-hmm.
You need to admit that you need help. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you got
Someone needs to reach out and help you out. You need help.
Yep.
And then after you take that step to reaching out, that's saying that you need help.
Yeah.
You need the support system. Hopefully you ain't burned so many bridges, you know what I'm saying,
Okay.
with your, you know what I'm saying, towards your addiction, for stealing. I done had people steal from me. I done had people do all types of stuff, you know what I'm saying, that was very close to me that I knew was messed up out here, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
support system is huge, you know,
That's true, man.
and then just following up on the steps you need to,
Right.
you know.
It's like as far as
Yeah.
recovery goes, though, I always heard that it was you have to make up in your mind that this is not something that you want to do anymore for
Right.
it to be effective for
Mhm.
your recovery to work. You have to wake up every day with the mindset, oh, I'm not gonna do this. This is not what I want to do
Mhm.
for recovery to work. So is that about right?
That might be for some, but you know, like I say, when I wake, I mean, I no more, you know, but I'm sure there's probably some that you know they have to you know constantly say that to themselves or whatever. But it's something I never really, I just don't even think about it no more, you know. Now it was a time, you know, a few years ago, maybe about 2 years ago, I think about things like, you know, maybe I could drink one or two, you know, them little non-alcoholic brews to be social,
You don't want to do
to
that
be
slippery
social
slope.
or whatever.
baby.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. That's a design, that's a trick of the enemy, man. Just to put you right back in the same place you was again.
All it takes is one.
You know, so it's all, you know, you just gotta, you know, you gotta ask God to help you with this thing. You gotta be willing and wanting to make some changes. You know, people, places, and things can't be the same. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta want to make some changes,
Yeah.
and you have to just, you know, stay focused on on life, on the things that's more important. You know, like work. Uh, I wanted better things, you know, and I'm not a
I,
materialistic person, but I'm just saying it was
Yeah.
things I wanted that I couldn't get or do because,
Yeah.
hey, I got to go to the store first. And
Right,
and
right.
if I ain't got enough to, you know, before
All
if
right.
after I get what I want from the store, then everything else is secondary.
Okay.
My priorities and everything was screwed up. You know, it's
Well, baby Lane,
addiction first, life second. That's how I
wow.
was.
I love that. And thank you for coming on and talking with us tonight. This is
Yes,
this is
yes.
my big brother Lance, cousins to everybody
My big brother
else.
cousin.
Big brother
Oh
cousin
yeah,
Lance, big
yeah.
brother Almighty. Okay.
Love you, cuz love you, cuz
Hey,
Thank
I
you
love
so
you
much
too,
for
bird
coming
dog.
on the podcast and talking to us so deeply about this topic of addiction. And we're going to have more segments. We're going to talk more about addiction. This might end up being a 7-part segment. You know, you guys just
Yeah.
stick with us, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate y'all asking me to do this, man. I think it's cool.
Cause you're cool.
Hey, that's what's up.
No,
Ramrod.
you are.
Hey, so we like Chase said, we appreciate you coming on, and we also
Yeah.
appreciate everybody watching tonight's podcast, and we will further this discussion, I'm guessing, because that's what it sounds like we all want to do, because there's so many different dimensions to what we're talking about, and we could talk about this all day.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
with that being said, appreciate your watch, appreciate your follow, like, and subscribe. I'm your boy G.
And I'm your girl Che.
I'm Wanda.
And I'm your boy Dirt,
And this is
our special guest.
our special guest is
Hey, a big L. Last, baby.
Yay!
And y'all
Thank
be
you.
blessed. We'll see y'all next time.
Good
Peace
night,
and love,
Ryan.
everybody. Peace and much love.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Thank you all Bloodliners for tuning in. So everybody just gonna walk off, huh? Everybody just walk off and just leave me sitting there. This what I get for not being on last night, huh? Just cause I ain't get on last night, y'all gonna all walk away. Boy, y'all something else. I tell you about people, man.